stones is an indentation. It looks like a horseshoe. It just so happens this is the story. This is why the name and photo came out for the boys. Too often. Now they come out with the name The Secret. Secret is another story now. The big story. This story is also how we have here the Nibelungen with Brunhilde and this is we have to go 7 days going to the opera. And we can do it in a row, I can do it next week. You go in a row, I have done it in a row. So I bought it. I couldn't hear anymore because it's so hard. This is a very hard Wagner game, Wagner play. And that's what the Siegfried is in with Siegfried and Brunhilde and all those. It was pretty.
She got good purpose. I think that's why. If you don't have a you're in there with all those elderly people whose minds aren't functioning, it's depressing. Yeah, when you can't see too, if you can at least read or watch TV.
And it's supplied by the library. The city library.
What had happened to like an insurance?
Interesting, and she enjoyed good food.
Where you want to go, you absolutely have to. I mean, they're nice places when you need medical help or care, but you don't want to do that now.
I don't know why you picked it.
If he wants beauty, he's got me. Brother, I am shocked at you. I am shocked at you. If he wants beauty and brains, he knows where to come.
Right.
If he wants nursing care, I'll fix the nurse.
I don't want to.
Well, I think we should start talking.
Pretty good. Yeah, you made a big choice. Good choice. You got it.
You think we should talk about ourselves first?
No.
Talk about it, go around the table, talk about it. No, because, but it's interesting to hear
And where they're at.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear the different people's thoughts.
She wasn't calling
So
Paul.
talk about yourself.
That's why.
Grandkids.
Widow ladies. The niece over there is done. I retired last June. Tell Charlotte it's wonderful. Finding plenty to do, everybody says. If you're retired, you wonder how you got everything done before. And that's the case. Our daughter Gail is 39. She lives in Seattle by herself. She's got a little house. She's doing carpentry. This is the one that put herself through the University of Washington and graduated magna cum laude and doing carpentry. So, Dean is 38 today. And he has 3 children who live with his mother and then live with their mother. And they spend once a week with him and every other weekend. They're 10, 12, 14. They live nearby, so we can see them very often.
Stand up and yell.
Lost the voice a bit. Uncle Floyd is having trouble. Or he can sit over there.
Are you having trouble hearing Uncle Floyd?
Uncle Floyd.
Yes, he is.
And he is in the military and is just newly stationed at Fort Meade, Maryland. We plan to go visit him this summer.
He's
And-
Army,
Uh-huh.
CI, counterintelligence?
Uh-huh, yes, and Scott is 22 and he lives in Des Moines, Iowa. He just graduated from college there and he works at Kohl's department store. And that's it.
He's a football player.
Yes, he played football during college. That was a lot of fun to go to his games.
So he's in management, he studied business management?
Yes, he's in starting out as a manager at a department store. He has a steady girlfriend, and but neither of them are married yet, and no grandkids yet, but someday.
Yeah, right. Sure. What kind of word is that?
growing rapidly.
Must be different in
Nebraska. I'm a nurse and I work in Madonna Rehab Hospital. It's for stroke and head injury patients after they've been in the acute care hospital. I've been there for 13 years and I'm working on my Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree. I have 9 more hours left in that.
What is your current degree?
I graduated from nursing school with a diploma degree.
I see. And was that a 2-year program?
3.
3 years.
Moran.
I'm an RN, and I also have my certification specialty in rehab nursing.
Are you active in rehab nursing?
Yes, I've been there for 13 years.
And if you get married for the next 23 years, you'll catch an Earl.
That's about right, isn't it? Yeah. So don't give up yet.
Next.
No, there's nothing up.
Oh, what am I supposed to say? Where I live?
Yeah, what you doing?
I'm at a reunion. I live in Valdo, Washington, and I'm a technical writer for Sunstrand Corporation. And they make the little black box that they go looking for if plane crashes, and they make things that just collect data on what the airplane's doing, so they can analyze whether the pilot is flying it okay and whether the airplane is performing okay. It's used mostly on the 747s and A340, the big buzzards, where the performance really matters.
Tell us a little bit about your Russian, your trip to Saudi, or whatever you call it now.
That's too big a subject.
Now you were gone about 2 weeks,
12 days.
and that was a musical group?
Yes.
You sing?
I didn't sing there.
But you would.
I can a
You're
little
being
bit.
interrogated, Dan. Keep
Yeah, I know.
Why did he
It's very
say
sing a few bars here for us, Dave? Sing a few bars for us? Bar.
Some stand plant in York too.
Yeah. They make different things, quite different. I visited them last time I was here.
One of the friends, or witness here in York, was on the same ship that you were.
Oh,
Several thousand of them.
Did you hear about him? Did you hear about him, all the wild tales? Did you hear the wild tales about Dan from that fellow?
Did he come back and
yes,
tell you?
but if you heard wild stories about me.
Oh.
No, that was to try to be brief, it was an interesting excursion into Russia. We were there for 12 days and in Moscow for about 2 days. And went
Lately?
That's about 3 years ago now.
Right before communism fell, right?
During the Persian Gulf War.
Oh.
And my daughter was very worried about safety of travel, and it was quite okay in that country, and we flew SAS, which is very neutral. So, anyway.
But they went because this one town had, what, opera festivals? A different one every night for a week?
Well, I have to get to the, we always have the because, so that's why I say it's a big story here.
I thought that was interesting.
There's-
They could have a different opera.
There's an interfaith group going in Seattle, and they put together Beethoven's Ninth Ode to Joy concert, and the interfaith choir was singing, and they brought in a tenor from Kazan, Russia, and one from China. And after bringing that tenor, he was a very strong performer. They started developing his relations there. The people that organized it are very much into music and quite professional. And so finally he organized a group to go over there and said, there's room, would anybody like to go? And well, how much would it cost? Yeah, I'd like to go. And it's about 700 miles east of Moscow, an overnight train ride. They kept us very busy, seeing all kinds of things during the day and during the afternoon and eating. We have the joke about we eat now, they'd feed us for 2 or 3 hours and just, this is their culture. They don't have the food, but that's their hospitality. And then we nod in agreement to operas, and we saw 7 operas while we were there. So,
Wow.
that opera festival, see, they had one every night. A different one, completely different scenery, completely different costuming and everything. So,
What don't they mean?
I don't
For
remember
instance?
Prince Igor,
Oh.
Rigoletto,
Oh, that's a good one.
a few of the traditional Russian ones. And then February of last year, they sang the Messiah with the interfaith choir, went to Kazan to sing the Messiah there in Russian for the first time ever. And they had it translated for that.
There's the music they sang. See, my daughter had a guitar, and one of them played guitar, and they had accordions, and
They don't know any of our Christmas songs. One who tried to get them to sing in your house, I believe, even.
well, we got them to sing some folk songs, Russian folk songs.
Russian folk songs, yeah. They have this, I'm sorry, I was talking that way.
I can hear you.
They have this custom where they put out a tree, not a Christmas tree, but a tree in January. And they sing some little song with the kids dancing around the tree. And so they have a winter celebration, but it's not religious. What else? I'm out of a guess.
Well, next time,
Kids.
when visit O2, we expect you sing us a song.
Barbara, well, those people visit predominant part in the Messiah or any of their other performances. We saw one also, it was the Russian folk music and liturgy and such. But he could really belt it out, and it was very entertaining. I haven't told about my son, worked for a while at Boeing, and he got laid off. They're laying off about 25,000 people. And he has a cabin near a lake that's out on the Olympic Peninsula. It's kind of way out there in the Christmas tree farm areas and such. And he's working with a guy that repairs cars out there now. And my daughter lives near me and the grandson, so I go over there every Tuesday night and do something with them.
You forgot Barbara.
How could I do that? I was just going to say, she's not able to come with me this time. She's still settling her father's estate. He died about 4 weeks ago, I guess it was. And it was very intensive. She was with him a whole lot during the previous period of time. It was just about 2 months prior to that, the doctor spotted a tumor and went in with a CAT scan and said, no, you've got the lymphatic cancer, and it was, all over. So he,
And then we got 2 in the last, we've had 2 more since you were all out last summer. So,
I'm glad to
2
hear
little
that.
boys, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those girls were very pregnant.
We had a nice trip coming this time. We went through, we stayed the first night in Wallace, Idaho, and then went through Montana, spent the next night in Wyoming. Bob got a speeding ticket 2 minutes out of the motel in Wyoming.
How much did that cost?
$20.
Should've got it in Montana, it's only 5. I got one there.
I think it's 40 in
We were just on the
Minnesota.
border too. I mean, it was so close.
Yeah, we saw a sign along the road that says littering $10. We figured that was cheap, so we unloaded the car.
And then came down yesterday. And it's been beautiful, cool.
And just that, and my cookies here.
And I'm surprised that the weather seems to be as changeable here as it has been at home. We had a cool, wet spring. But it was because it was a cool, wet spring and it was raining and the silage was in that we were able to come. We're happy to be here. No, we did not go that far up. We were in a hurry. You would have had to stop and
Judging by the speeding ticket.
There's a lot of miles.
You folks, your kids live in the same area
Our
where you
kids
do?
live within 5, although our son just moved to Vancouver, Washington, but they have lived within 5 miles of us. So we're fortunate to have everybody right close by.
That's either blessed or devil, depending.
Right, depending on the day, but.
What is Ray doing?
Ray is working for Dairy Gold. He's working in the warehouse. So, and Anne, our second daughter, she's farming with us. Her husband is farming with us. Sally, the oldest one, who is 40, her company is just going out of business, so she's going to be starting on her own. She's going to be doing consulting and massage. So that's going to be a new thing for her. And Anne,
What company was she with?
she was with Permit Engineering. It was a new technology for dams,
Oh, okay.
small dams. She's excited about this change. She feels that she's ready for it.
What's it gonna involve?
Well, she's buying some of the equipment. She's a draftsman, and she's buying some of their equipment, and then she'll be doing some consulting work. She thinks, hopes. And then she is a massage therapist, and really likes to do that, so that'll be her. She'd have to.
Next time, bring her along.
Yeah,
Right.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
She got a lot of contacts from her job?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's gonna get,
Yeah,
she'll start there.
She's quite well known with Bob for a week, so he got out of it.
They take a picture
Nice.
of me and holding the,
Yes, 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 I heard that, yeah, I heard that. Haven't you seen that picture? I'll have to send it to you. I've got,
I saw it somewhere.
yeah.
Probably
I'll
was in
probably
Brown
send it to you,
Robin.
yeah.
There was a round robin pictures, I think, in our letter.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
think,
right.
yeah,
That's
with
right,
with pictures, yeah.
I remember saw it somewhere.
So, I don't know, I guess I'm the only kid that stayed on the farm. So I'm farming on Iris Place. And we have about 240 milking Jersey cows and about 240 young stock. And we kind of improved the place, carried on, and we hope that we can work it out so that my daughter and her husband can kind of take over when we're ready to hang it up, and we'll have a third generation on the farm. So that's our goal. I don't know if we're going to make it or not, but we're working at it. So,
Now, which daughter is it?
and
You have the Jersey?
we have the jerseys, yeah,
Jerseys.
yeah, somebody,
Somebody said, I got the idea, Guernsey, you
no,
got the
jerseys, yeah. The same herd my dad started with.
Uncle Floyd, these are the most handsome creatures you ever saw. And
The cows are nice too.
yeah.
They chew the same.
They buy them even, they're really thoroughbreds, aren't they? I mean.
No, thoroughbreds are horses, these are purebreds.
Oh, sorry. I'm scared to get up talking to him because he knows too much.
Why don't you let Bob do the talking?
He's doing all right, Mitch.
He liked to do
Girls
this.
get to have fun too, you know.
Yeah, I know.
They pay for it.
So,
So Australia,
yeah, we took a little trip here, this winter. Went off to Australia, New Zealand, and, on a dairy tour trip, and, with the University of Minnesota. And that was pretty interesting to see how they do things down under.
Don't know, did you say?
Down under.
Down under.
Down under.
Down under, yeah, that's what they call it down there.
Yeah.
Down under.
What, is there any difference in handling of that dairy?
Yeah, very low input.
But, very,
Very low input. They don't spend any money, they don't feed any grain, they don't get a lot of production, but they keep their input costs low. And they seem to work.
do they make money?
You had about the top dairy herd in the state of Washington.
Well, yes, that's true, jerseys.
Yeah, that's what.
Purebred jerseys, and according to Jersey Cattle Club in the nation, I think for herds over 200 head in size, we were #1 in milk, fat, and protein.
What counts?
What counts?
fat.
And that's what counts.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
counts.
No, what counts is
Did those
volume.
cows,
Volume,
did
yeah.
those
Yeah.
dairy cows get pretty skinny looking?
Not anymore.
And you don't get so much input?
No, they look good.
They look good?
Yeah, because they're only putting out about half the milk.
Yeah. Well, when you don't put anything in, you cannot get so much else.
Anyhow, due to changing way that the market works anymore, we tend to feel that the Jersey is not really a viable cow anymore. The Holstein is probably more viable from a profit standpoint. We've considered getting rid of the Jerseys and buying Holsteins. We're kind of holding off because we do have some good genetics. In fact, just in the last month, we signed a contract with the American Breeders Association to sell 2 young bulls for $4,000 a piece.
Not bad.
And this is how we hope to redeem the thing, is through the genetic pool that we built up over the years.
Then if everybody would eat butter and drink cream. No, it goes down when you do that. They've got it all wrong.
Was tested, and now I'm retired. I've been retired for 3 years. I built a new home, and I've been busier than I did when I had a job. We have 3 children. One is Brigitta, and she works at Bally's in Las Vegas as an auditor. Then we have my son. He works for Lockheed, EPA. Lockheed has a contract, and he travels throughout the country. Then the youngest one, Sylvie Elaine, she has 4 children.
I beg your pardon, she had 6 children.
Well, okay, all right. Anyway, we lost one of them in crib death. But besides being a mother, she also has a business doing nails. So they all live in Las Vegas, and that's where we plan to stay. So I'll let my wife tell the rest of it.
Born in Germany, what you know. And I met Scott in Berlin. And in 45, I finally could come over here in 47. And we're married, had 3 children, but how he said it. And I brought 1 child along, and she is American. I'm American. This first thing what I have done is get citizenship paper, and we're very proud of it. Be a baker and be a citizen. And then we won 5 years in Keensburg. I consider this my hometown. Und dann wir moved von there to Colorado Springs, zu Albuquerque, zu Reno und dann zu Las Vegas.
Manhattan, don't forget Manhattan.
Oh, Kansas, I like to forget that. Und dann wir stehen in Las Vegas. My son, Giddy, she have a good job as an accountant. She have 12 people working under her. And Johnny, he is a biologist with a master degree and have to go he makes a circle around through the whole state in the United States. He starts out in Las Vegas and go to the colleges and teaching there, and then he goes to Washington and make his what you have to talk to, they go to the government and then come the other way around and gives his report, and he has a pretty good job. Scott got mad at him one time, very mad, and he saying, this guy say, you get the good promotion, and you have to take this whole thing over. And Johnny asked, well, can I travel? No, he said, I don't want it. And Scott, he was very mad and shoot him out. He said, well, when you don't take any promotion, the next time you get cut over. Well, and Sylvia, she is the youngest one. She's with the 6 children, 5 of them alive. And she makes nails. And mother is the guinea pig. And was the guinea pig. And of this day, he's now married 46 years. I know this man 46 years and married him 46 years. And be married with him. And it's quite a long time. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's where you're home, where you were born?
Well, I've been born in a small town in this war eastern part of Germany, and it is now everything once. It's in a small town. This is, I tell you, the bigger towns is Gera and Leipzig.
Close to Leipzig?
Close to Leipzig, in the little, I want to talk German now, in the little town Stadt Ilm. And Ilm is the name of the little creek there.
Okay.
And I was here, and then every day I've been going over in the water and played. We played there. This was our playground.
Which direction from Leipzig?
Which direction? I will say west. Yeah, west.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a small town, a very, very pretty town. Have little tiny castles and gables and stuff like this. And it's kind of pretty, you know. But I don't want to go back. No way.
She wants to be an American.
Yes.
I want to be American and a baker.
Not necessarily that order.
I have to put up with him. Okay, thank you.
I guess I'd just fill you in on a little bit of my life. Of course, we grew up on the farm right across from Uncle Floyd, and used to work for Uncle Floyd some now and then. I remember as a boy growing up, my dad would tell Don and I, he said, you guys, you make sure you get an education so you can get off this farm. He said, I'm stuck here. I don't have an education. I can't do anything else. But you make sure that you find a way to get off this farm. And I considered that to be pretty sound advice. I wasn't particularly liking the fence mending and the putting up hay and scooping corn, scooping out cattle barns and all those things. So I did. Pulling dopeweed, yeah. Yes.
The cash, he was right away, cash crop. He
Yeah.
threw away a cash.
Most crop we had, we didn't even know it, right under our nose. Yeah. Anyway, I did go to the University of Nebraska and became a teacher, and then for a while I was back in the hometown of Benedict as a principal and then superintendent, and then from there we moved to Arlington, Nebraska, up in northwest Omaha. We were there 11 years, and 5 years ago went over to the state of Iowa, in Harlan, Iowa. It's about 10 miles off Interstate 80, a larger school system, and this is my
How large is it?
we The city of Harlan's about 6,000. We take in about 2/3 of Shelby County in our school district. In a rural Midwest, it's a good-sized school district. In your area, it would be probably considered to be small. We have 1,600 students, and in the Midwest, that would be New York probably has 1,300 students, so it'd be a town very similar in a lot of ways to York. And, so that this is my 19th year as superintendent and 25 years altogether in education. So go a few more years.
You just a young old duck?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm the youngest cousin as we look at things.
Well, if you can job like that, you don't wrinkle.
You die before you wrinkle, man. I brought some stuff along we'll share with you later. I ran some things off, some photocopied things, and some stuff that maybe just pushes the edges out a little bit further on family history, and we'll go that with you later this evening, maybe.
Roy, just a question about Benedict. Is that from kindergarten through high school?
Yes,
That building?
yes, yeah, all in the same place there.
And is that where you went to school?
Yes, it is. Right.
You went to Benedict all,
Yes, no kindergarten, but first grade through 12.
so that was a bus? You went by bus?
Yes,
Roy, wasn't that the first consolidated
yes, I
school
believe
system
so.
in Nebraska? or
1925,
In the state,
yes.
I mean, in the country.
One of the very first consolidated school districts in the state of Nebraska, certainly, so. Yes. I think Marilyn just missed by 1 or 2 years of going to that country school, District 43 school, and just closed a couple years before Marilyn started, or else she would have been there.
You brothers and sisters?
Yes.
Oh, I do know, but I recognize you.
Roy, where did like Leonard go? Didn't they live in York County in that area for a while before they moved to Illinois? Do you know?
I don't know, would Leonard had gone to the school there, he might have gone to school there in District 43.
No, he never went there.
Never went to school there.
No.
Well, he
Moved
talked,
away before.
I thought he talked about.
He was over on the Harvard place, that was out of the.
I was out of that district, okay, so he might have.
No regrets for leaving the farm.
Well, yeah, I always wondered what it would have been like if it would have stayed there, because we after our father died, we kept all the farm machinery until both Don and I were out of high school, just in case one of us would have wanted to. So we had the opportunity, and probably probably could have worked something out with Uncle Wayne's place, but we both kept looking at each other. I think we both wished the other would have stayed there, kept the place going, but we both took off. So yeah,
But you still own it?
yeah, still do. According to the letter, and I happened to read it at BCU, I guess at Marilyn's place, and Uncle Floyd indicated that land has been in the same family longer than any other farm in York County, which I was not aware of. I knew it had quite a while, so that's
Over 100 years, right, Roy?
yeah, well, since 1874. So. $5 an acre bought from the railroad, so.
The lost is found.
I guess Clydella's next up.
What we do is going around telling, and we can tell Uncle Floyd.
Say that.
Only daughters with 4 brothers don't get spoiled, right?
Actually, the brothers are always trying to trash you. As they go by, they want to be friendly, and they take a knuckle, and they put it in your arm, they raise this little well. So I have a lot of bows. God knows what I need. Anyway, they never let your head get bigger than a pinpoint. My career was Uncle Sam almost 40 years. In 1947, my first job with Uncle Sam was to go to Japan as a clerk for the occupation of Japan. of my friends and I went in, and I went to Portugal for 2 years, and there I met the big man, And so I asked him to marry me, and he said he would. As soon as he finished his education. But we had 2 years to go yet. We came back to the University of Minnesota, and I was then his blonde scholarship. How many of you know what a blonde scholarship is? When the GIs came home and they had the GI Bill, Uncle Sam let them all go back to school for 4 years, but it was rather a small sum. You really couldn't get married unless the wife worked too. And she, whatever color she was known as the blonde scholarship. Yeah, lots of people know this, especially the blonde scholarships are aware of it. You know who they were. They were the ones that didn't pay for the books, but they paid for any stakes that you had. Put gas in the car. Bob doesn't believe me. Kidding. So anyway, Rich, I like to make light of this. He tried to escape me by going to Frankfurt, transferring to Frankfurt. And I had orders to go to Manila, and I put my orders down to the executive officer, and I said, Mr. Ellis, do you think that I'm going to Manila when my boyfriend went off to Frankfurt? And he says, calm yourself, Miss Baker, calm yourself. He said, we'll fix this up. And the State Department, they've been my friends ever since, sent back orders to go to Bonn, Germany.
Oh, Bonn.
Bonn, Germany. Well, that was just fine, except it took Richard 3 hours on the Autobahn to get there. And so then I had another really good luck. An old friend of mine was in the personnel department there, and she said, we'll find you a job in Frankfurt. So I finally went to her, and I said, well, when would that be? She said, you get married right away and we come back and we'll have a job for you. And I came back and I worked for the tripartite Civil Aviation Board. But the Germans were never allowed to fly a plane until about 1952 or 3 when they got their sovereignty. This is very hard on the Germans because they loved to fly, and what they did was they could sail. Get the little Volkswagens, and they would run along this thing up into the air, and they could go 200 miles on current. They were all over the place. They didn't want to be up there, you know. So then Rich and I were married in Frankfurt, and his 4 years was up, and he said, do you want to stay in the Army? And I said, no. Do you want to stay in the Army? He says, no. So we came back to Minneapolis, and we love it. I can highly recommend it if only for a visit. And we've been there ever since. And we built ourselves our dream house. Mother Randall was an expert in real estate. She said, now, you build this house, are you going to retire in California? And we said, no, we're going to be here forever. She says, well, then don't build any stairs. Because when you get a few years older, you're only going to be able to lift your foot this far.
And she is right.
And so here we are, and we all our friends, they run off for 4 or 5 months to Arizona, and we just stay put. But we have got used to traveling, and we love to do it. And if we can have a Minnesota once or twice in the winter for a week, we love Minnesota. We don't ever want to go to Arizona for 4 or 5 months. And Elder Hostel is a great, wonderful, cheap thing to do in case you don't know about it. They have all kinds of elder hostel programs. You have to be 60. Costs about $350 per person for a week. You can pick your program, you can pick your area, and you meet another 40, 50 people that are really interesting. We went to Virginia, Tidewater, Virginia, Norfolk, and we were in Uncle Grant's territory. We were in Uncle Grant's territory. We saw a valley there on the James River, and we met about 40 fascinating people and absolutely fascinating history on both the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. It's just, these professors were wildly interested in it, 4 days, and they were gonna catch a cruise out of London, and go all the way to St. Petersburg, Leningrad, and see some of his capital. And, we just figured as long as our, we can ankle out the door and our feet move, shuffle forward, we just keep traveling. And we'd like to hear any interesting places you've been, and we'll go there too.
Von Richmond, like, oh, Germany.
I'm Chet, I'm Rev Baker's youngest and probably best looking son. I'd never heard this blonde scholarship thing. I'm kind of glad we wasn't here to hear it either, because she did that, she worked and helped put me through school. I retired last March after 35 and a half years credit with the Los Angeles County Probation Department, and a month later fell off the ladder and broke my hip, which was a lot of fun, of course. You know about that, right, Floyd? We have six sons and 2 grandsons. We only have 1 boy married, and 2 grandsons live just about 3 miles from us, so we get to see them a lot. The oldest one's 8, and the littlest one's 3. He may not live before breaking really good. 2 of the boys have college degrees. Mike, the oldest boy, got his from Arizona State University at age 38 last year, and we have one at Oregon State University, graduated from the university and works now at the university. One of the boys is a UPS driver. He's the father of the 2 grandchildren. And we live in Simi Valley, which nobody had heard of until a year or 2 ago. Now everybody seems to know where Simi Valley, California is. But it is a nice place to live, isn't it, Esther? She came and visited.
If there's some way to get there without having to get there.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so
You
easy.
don't go through what?
Yeah. You don't go through South Central Los Angeles to get there.
It's so easy to go to it.
But we've been married a long time, 37 years. I guess Lincoln, can we have a boys graduating? And he has done pretty well in school, has a lot of awards coming, so when the principal found out that we were leaving town, they were a little upset. So they stayed in order to go to the awards banquets with Corey.
And which son is this?
That's our youngest one, Corey.
Corey.
And
From
Scott
high
says,
school.
yeah, high school. And Scott said that I was kind of dumb and kept, having these kids late, but I was the same age. I was the same age when Corey was born as Dad was when I was born. I was 42 when Corey was born, and Dad was 42 when I was born. And I just know that Corey's going to be real successful like me. He plans on going to college. His mother is Mormon, and he's going to go 1 year in junior college, go on a mission to the Mormon church. And when he comes back, he's had offers. BYU's been trying to get him to come. He's thinking about Oregon State University. He'd like to get into environmental engineering, that kind of thing. Lee was real sorry she couldn't come, and one of the reasons she didn't want to come, you people nominated her treasurer last time, and we spent all the money that we collected. She meant to send it. She really did. I think there's $80-some in there, and she says, be sure to take that. And I forgot to bring it, but that's something we need to probably resolve too, while we're here. That's about it, I guess. Thank you.
I'm Wayne Baker, Rev Baker's son, my brother Chester Baker, and
You'd admit that? Oh, excuse me.
my dad always said, I made a lot of mistakes, but my worst mistake was having Chester. And, I was named after 2 uncles, Uncle Wayne and Uncle Grant. I was born in Kingsburg, Colorado. I still live in Kingsburg. I figure I'm dying in Kingsburg. And we have some kids all over still while about the kids, since Chet used up some of my time, I'll come on short, so.
I think it's 10 grandkids right now, going to have another one in August, and they are the lights of our lives. That's about what we do. We have grandkids.
Take a lot of responsibility for that.
Yes, well, I know, but it seems like you do. Our oldest one is 23 or 24, so those are kind of, those are big kids now. But we got the 5 little ones right now. We will have the 6 little ones, and it's been a lot of fun. And we've been married for 36 years, I think, since 1956. And we have lived in Keensburg. Wayne is the oldest living person in Keensburg who was born there. Who was born there.
And he looks like it.
Well, sometimes like it.
Yes, he is the oldest living person who was born in town.
He said he was planning to die in Keensburg.
Well,
Yes,
I didn't even know he was sick. Lucille, tell us what the sign says in Keensburg.
Yeah. 500 happy people and a few sore heads. This town,
They had a few when Chet comes around.
this town has had 500 people since 1929 or something like that. They have built innumerable new houses, and the population has remained the same because nowadays people only have 1 and 2 kids where they used to have 10 and 12.
Was it not one time the sign on 500 population and 1 idiot?
No. it's
Well,
always
that-
been-
They took it off when I moved.
It's great living in a hometown like that.
Were you born there too?
No, I'm from Fort Morgan, which is about 50 miles from there, but it's been my hometown always. I've always claimed it as that because I've loved it so much.
In Fort Morgan when you claim hers.
No, they said, out.
I grew up in York County, a few miles away from Grandma's house, and we went there every Sunday. And we went through 8th grade at our local school district and then into York High School. And I went to York College one year and met Bob. His folks had a meat and grocery market there. And we've lived in York, Lincoln, and Omaha. We've been married, yesterday we were married 43 years. Yeah. Bob's birthday. Oh, happy birthday. But we waited a while.
500 years. Bob wants to see your license.
Our oldest son is in California on the high desert, and he married a Dutch girl. He is now out of the service, and they just had a baby. I went out in February for 2 weeks, and he's a darling baby, absolutely the cutest, except for a couple of the grandchildren. And,
What's he leaving? He's at Edwards.
well, he was at Edwards,
Uh-huh.
and he lives in California City.
Oh, he's out.
He's out of the service,
And
because they're cutting down in middle management.
I remember that
Yeah.
story. And so they're going to stay in California.
Well, they don't know, it
Oh.
depends.
Uh-huh.
They're going back to Holland because, for a couple of weeks, because her father remarried, and their 12 and a half years is a big deal. It's half of a quarter of a century, and the second wife, they've been married that. And the second wife is a nice lady that was nice to the children. So he's having a big party, and he has the money. He rented a castle, the whole castle for 1 day
Where's that?
in Holland. And each room they do something different. They might have a jazz band in one because he likes jazz, and blues in another, and refreshments in one. And everybody will be invited for the whole day. And he paved the way for John and Angelique and the baby to go back. So they're going back. They'll be leaving in a couple of weeks. And our other 2 sons live in Omaha, and our youngest one has a baby that's a year old, and the other one has 4 children. And I'm still working, and I'd rather be in Esther's shoes. And it's very nice to be there.
Same thing that I've done
I miss the Bakers since Pearl is gone.
Excuse me, can I ask you for your name, please?
I am Wallace Bender. I was married to Pearl's daughter, stepdaughter. So she was my mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Got along fine with her. I liked her.
I did too.
She likes you.
And I'm sure glad to be here, because I'm kind of getting reacquainted with some of you. I can't place so many of you, but then I know you're there, so it's nice to be here.
So you have a brother-in-law in California?
Oh, yes.
Is he still out there?
Yeah, no, they moved to Mesa, Arizona.
Mesa?
They retired. He
Yeah.
retired.
Right,
Yeah.
I met them, my Aunt Pearl came out to California a couple of times. I took them, I lived in Westminster, Westchester.
Oh, Westminster.
Westminster, yeah, I took her
California.
down there a couple of times.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh.
But she talked very, very highly of you and your wife, very highly.
Had some good times together.
And Pearl always spoke about her son and her daughter,
Yeah.
her son-in-law and daughter-in-law. She never said
I kind of
stepchildren.
hate to say stepson when I mentioned it. but
Yeah.
Just,
That's the way it is.
felt so accepted.
Uh-huh.
But this what Scott have done with my daughter. I brought the daughter over here to the United States, and the first thing what he done, he adopted her, and then she was a baker.
She was 6 or 7 when she came with
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Wallace, do you raise cattle?
Oh, yes.
And what do you raise?
Oh, I raise Herberts. I've still got the Herberts. I got 25 cows. And there, I call them a hobby herder. I'm hobby farming. I just have 100 acres when I rent out the rest of it. But I'm busier hobby farming than I was when I was farming. So, what these retired people do, that's what it is.
But this what my husband said. He is busier now as we when you going to work.
So I keep busy.
And then just what I don't like on a retired person, where we have in the back, and our house we have in the, oh. You don't want to hear what I'm talking about, you. You don't want to hear what I'm talking about, you.
That's Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay, I wait. I tell it anyway.
Well, I'm gonna let somebody
I'm Bob Moomey, and I feel that I'm part of the family. After 43 years of knowing everybody but Wayne, seems like every time we went through Keensburg, we'd kind of stop and ask if they were there, and we could never find them at home. So we just finally gave up.
You thought they didn't exist, huh?
I said, well, I'll meet him sometime. I think I talked to most of you about a year ago. And I think I talked to you from the hospital. In the hospital bed, I believe. I think that's the way it was. And I just wanted to call and check that Charlotte got there okay. With airlines, you never know. Of course, it's better than the trains. Charlotte and Joel, our second son, started to go to Denver to see one of their cousins, or one of her cousins. And they got to a little town of McCook, Nebraska, and which is way out in the southeastern or western part of the county, of the state. The train started backing up, and they backed clear back to Hastings. Went to Grand Island, and they wound up in Cheyenne. That's a little ways from Denver. They finally got there, but the cousin had made about 4 trips down to the railroad station. And finally he told me, he says, I just gave up, and he said, they'll call when they get here. So I can't really say too much. I should say Charlotte and I have 6 grandchildren. I think it's a little unfair the way the boys did with the last 3. The 3 of them are all within 9 months of each other. That's gonna make it mighty rough for Grandpa and Grandma on birthdays.
That's more than one family, I
yes.
presume.
I'm sorry?
More than one set of parents, I presume.
Well, yes,
We have
there's
three
the three of them.
sons.
It's amazing how the boys named their children. The oldest of the youngest, now that's not gonna make much sense, but it does, is Hannah Lee. Joel's son is, boy, I don't know, Seth Daniel. Seth Daniel. And John's is Jesse Samuel. I have a hard time remembering the names because, like my sister said last night, my rememberer isn't as good as my forgetter. I'm happy to be here. Rich and I have back problems in common, I think, and it's no fun, believe me. But thank goodness for doctors.
The school of the high school in Lincoln, as was Alice Garm's uncle, his wife. And so today on the way back from Lincoln, we passed within 2 miles of Pleasant Vale, which was Mother's address at the time she grew up in Seward County. And, I started to go to school at York High School, and during March of my junior year, then the folks moved to the farm northeast of Pope. At Clark's was their address. And so I finished high school at Pope and went 2 years to the college at Kearney, which was at that time was a state teacher's college. And I enjoyed teaching primary grades. I guess this runs in the family. Until we had our first 3 children, and Anita is now 40, and they're in Connecticut right now, which they love much more than Philadelphia, where they just moved from, because it's a high crime city, but she says the University of Pennsylvania, where her husband was working, was like a separate community, and they felt safer with their own campus. But she likes Connecticut now because it has a little more rural atmosphere, because she could remember Nebraska. And when she and her husband were going to school at Cornell University near the Finger Lakes in Ithaca, New York, that was what she called the rural community too, and she liked that. And our next son is Martin, who is a professional engineer in civil engineering, and he's licensed also in California, and last fall he studied to take the test so that he is now licensed to work in Alaska, and he has 2 bridges that he's planning right now. That's one of the things he's doing. And he lives in a suburb of Denver, as does our next son Matt, who's 34. And Matt is single and has a townhouse, and we come and stay at this extra bedroom very, very often. It's a good meeting place because Marjorie's going, our youngest who is here, is going to school at Colorado State University about 60 miles north of Denver. And she is proud to say that she's a senior at the university right now, and she's going to be a mechanical engineer, which she says she likes the challenge. And both of our sons go to the same church in Aurora, so that's a good meeting place for all of us, that we spend a good many weekends with 3 children, and daughter-in-law, and 2 grandchildren there.
Where's Matt doing?
He's in construction. He likes to be outdoors, so he's in frame construction. And he's just now getting into trim work, which he wants something different. And he appreciates good wood, and sometimes they do remodels of very expensive homes in Denver that the owner doesn't know how to spend their money, so they remodel an already lovely home. And if he gets a hold of some good wood that is headed for the trash, he'll take it home, and he's made some very beautiful furniture in his home from some of the woods that he appreciates. And he also climbs the 14ers in Colorado, the peaks that are over 14,000, that he knows what to pack, and he really likes that for an outdoor activity. Marjorie sometimes goes with it.
Is that usually group activity, the group out there?
He just goes along.
That's kind of scary.
Well,
You better
he's
take
well
Marjorie.
prepared.
You better take Marjorie.
I discourage her going by herself, but
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah.
definitely
One loses control after a while.
Clydella, are you a candidate for a kidney transplant now?
Not right now. I'll see a little later on. I had 2 surgeries in the past year, and they want you to do everything before they want to see you for kidney transplant. I'll try that.
You want to tell us a little bit about 2 weeks ago?
Well, the National Kidney Foundation has put a vacation kidney center in the Rockies, and this is the first one that they have put in a vacation spot. And previously, the only places a dialysis person could go for a vacation was on certain cruise ships. And of course, that's rather expensive for a good many kidney patients. So the YMCA of the Rockies, which is 80 miles west of Denver, built the building for them, and a kidney patient who is herself a diabetic and a transplant patient, and she's blind, and a wife of a doctor, and very energetic. I have met this lady, and she saw about getting funding and donations to equip the building. And there are many, many cabins on this YMCA of the Rockies grounds, and it's beautiful hiking out there, and of course they have the rest of the recreation that a YM camp usually does, the gymnasium and swimming pool and delivery and so forth. But we spent most of our time hiking, and we had all 4 of our children, our 1 son-in-law, our 1 daughter-in-law, and our 3 grandchildren together for the first time since we were 11. And we spent a long weekend and really had a wonderful time. The cabin had 2 living rooms, 2 bathrooms, and 4 bedrooms and a kitchen. And so we just brought in our food and had our meals together. And everybody loved the big dining table where we could just sit down and all be together. It would rain and hail for 5 or 10 minutes every day, and then it was done, and we didn't feel crowded in the cabin. It was just a lovely place to be.
You didn't like to crowd in one of the rooms, you go to the other living room.
That's right.
You forgot to tell us, like they say on the quiz shows, my wonderful, handsome, charming husband.
Well, let's see. So we've lived in 2 places in Nebraska and the one in Colorado now, Rocky Ford, Colorado, in the semi-arid corner of
You're permanently retired in Rocky Ford, permanently?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really home, isn't it? Really good. That was very.
Like those watermelons.
Yeah.
which I can't eat, but he eats lots of watermelon.
Yeah, yeah.
Is Ralph gonna get up on
Mark,
this?
Ralph and Mark, you both owe us a few minutes.
I owe Marjorie an apology. They said yesterday she's a senior. And I said, this coming fall, and she said, yes. I said, well, Corey's graduating. Turns out she's just finished her junior year in college, and I thought she was just finished her junior year in high school. So I apologize.
I like to say, tell something in between them two. It's a little bit of a coincidence. We have to go to Kansas because he bought also a job and built on Fort Riley, built 1,001 unit. And then we find out Scott built a unit on Fort Riley, and Richard, he have war in the army there. At Officers Kennedy School. No, I thought this is kind of coincidence. This happened, right?
And he's going to the reunion.
Rich, was that at Funston or
Funston, the OCS.
Yeah.
And Bob was at Fort Riley.
And my husband
Yeah,
was
I
waren Fort Riley too?
And Whit was too.
Too, yeah. Yeah, wir waren in Junction, we have lived in, by Junction City in the Cedar Estate. Das war an der Lake. Milford.
I think so.
Is this the Baker?
Yeah.
I don't see any familiar faces.
You don't.
We'll get familiar.
Come on.
Just one. Hi there. How are you? I'm Kay. Kay.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Young. You're Baker? Baker Gray. Yeah.
Just in time to pick the hot seat.
I thought I'd have to put this in with you too.
Are you going to be in the Oh, I'm coming. I'm
It's
Ray's
all
daughter.
the way around. You want down, Charlotte, the young girl, then want to say,
Put her on the hot seat.
no. Say, Ralph is saying he gets one more turn.
Well, we should let her get used to it a little bit, though. It's getting Marjorie up there. Yes, please.
Yeah, she's got a girl.
You're just fine.
And she decided against it, so maybe next time. But anyway, I'm Kay Baker Gray. My father is Earl, and I'm number 4 out of 7. And of course, we just lost Leonard in November, so we're all still kind of grieving that. But I was born here at Benedict, Nebraska, and Daddy moved out there when I was 3. And I attended schools there at Anchor and Colfax. And got married, have 4 children. I divorced 19 years ago. I have 3 sons and 1 daughter. And let's see, 6 grandchildren and 1 great-grandson. I have a new grandson that was just born the 21st of May. And my boys are big. I got a 6'7", 6'5", and 6'4". They're bakers.
Yeah.
And my daughter's puny. She's about 5'7" and about this big around. So I worked 23 years for Eureka Company, inspecting vacuum cleaners. And 3 years ago, I had a major heart attack, and I've had 2 heart surgeries since, and so I was forced to retire. I'm not sorry that I'm retired because I don't know how I ever found time to work. But that's about it.
Kay, what time did you leave to get here?
4:30 this morning.
And you drove straight through?
Yeah, I had to stop a number of times because with my heart, I'm not supposed to, every 100 miles or so I'm supposed to get out and walk. And then I stopped for an hour for lunch. And so it wasn't too bad. I'm an early bird anyway. I like to get up early.
Well, we're surprised and so pleased to see you. And we had a nice surprise.
Oh, I'm glad to see everybody. Now, which one's the one that called me? Dan. That's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should each tell you who we are.
I was going to call you back, and by the time I got around to it, you were already gone.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, can you tell us a little about your sisters and what they're doing?
Let's see. Barbara lives at Romeoville, and she's still working. She works for Rayner Corporation. She's secretary to the head guy there. And then Evelyn and Hank are out in North Carolina. They have a motorhome, and they have a lot they're building on. They're both retired. And then Gloria lives at Merritt Island, Florida, with her husband, and he works at the Space Center. And let's see, Esther lives in Bloomington, and she works for the phone company. And she's got 3 sons and a daughter also. And then June is out in California. She's at San Rafael, and she's out there all by herself. She lost her only child, son, about a year ago. And that's about all there is to tell.
Well, it's nice to have a representative from Uncle Earl's family.
Yes.
Yeah.
appreciated Leonard at the reunions
Yeah.
and the letters and such a
He
wonderful
enjoyed it.
sense of
He
humor.
enjoyed it,
Yeah,
he
he
really did.
Leonard's he was always a talker. He always enjoyed
What
that.
Baker isn't?
The in-laws.
Well, not so much talking about teasing all the time.
Hey, now.
Time living.
Three of them over there that aren't real.
Three?
Wayne.
Okay, do you want another chair and we'll try to
Sure.
get an in-law? Sure.
You wouldn't believe who I came to this country, and I came in the Baker family with those 4 boys. They have teased me from morning to night.
Oh, boy.
And I have to take it, and I had the smiling
That's
face.
cruel and
Inside,
abuse. That's
I
abuse
can
and,
wring their necks.
my, you know,
I'm the only one that ever
Oh, no.
should be going into therapy on that one.
But the culmination is when they go up and leave you at a rest stop.
Yeah, downstairs. And he said, boy, no hot water or running water. They have to be always going to the creek and get the water. And he just came back from Argentina.
You folks want a break for maybe
You did a good job in telling what's been happening. I've been retired for 2 years in July, no, June. After 40 years in public school administration, most of it in public school administration. 20 years in Nebraska, 20 years in Colorado.
I better just dress
I try to stay busy. Really different being retired, I can tell you that, from being a school administrator.
Sounds good.
Don't have bells ringing every 55 minutes anymore.
No more angry parents on the phone.
No more angry parents. I do a little volunteer work now. I'm on the public housing board. They asked me to do that. I've done things like help with a new superintendent search and those sorts of things. And then have some friends that are older than I am, and I'm helping them out with all sorts of chores. Some church work. And I guess I feel proud when I go through Denver, and I might just tell you what to look for if you're coming in on I-25 from the south, where the pillars that are holding up E-470, Mark Design Homes, that's our civil engineer. And the biggest bottleneck in Denver was the 6th Avenue exchange off I-25. He was a concept engineer for that too.
Before it was a bottleneck or after?
He straightened out the bottleneck.
And
It's
the bridge-
interesting to see what kinds of things that Matt has done too. Some real great houses in some of the better parts of Denver, Mount Genesee, things like that.
Did you tell them that the bridge that fell in Denver was a
That was
different company?
not Martin's company. And he's had some part in the most expensive highway, I guess, in the United States, up through the Glenwood Canyon, right?
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
Got it all blasted. Tell him to hurry up and finish it.
He had to come to Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, we have there, they don't call it the bottleneck, they call it the no, they call it the spaghetti bowl.
Right now, a couple of the bridges he's working on the farthest west extension of continuous highway in the North American continent. 2 bridges south of Anchorage. There's that and a couple bridges over there on the Anchorage River. And we really enjoyed the reunion we had. It was just really a great thing. First time we were ever together, all 11 of us. Had a good time.
That was nice.
Hope you working or seeing you folks again. Yeah.
Completed when Pearl probably made one of her first trips out to visit my dad. And so my dad, he was taking Pearl around to show her the sights of Washington and so forth. So they drove over this floating bridge. And it was a new concept, a floating bridge. Well, Pearl, with her dry sense of humor, she says, "In Nebraska, concrete sinks." Well, I regret to this day that the timing was such as it is, but about 2 years ago, that bridge sunk. I just would have loved to have
Well, speaking of Aunt Pearl and traveling, the first time I traveled with her in the mountains was the year I graduated, and we came out to your place. And we went through the Rockies. Uncle Ed was along and Cousin Louise. And she was driving in the mountains, you know, and you look straight down, and I wasn't used to that at all. And she said, Ed, do you remember when you first took me in the mountains, and you were saying, isn't this beautiful, isn't that beautiful? And I said to you, Ed, you drive, I'll look. And Aunt Pearl would say, isn't this pretty, and isn't that pretty? But I kept my mouth shut. I did not say, you drive, I'll look.
That was Isaiah Locke General Store. Mrs. Locke was still living, and we did talk to her son, and she was able to direct us exactly to where that cemetery was there. And otherwise, you would never have known that that was a cemetery out there. So we felt fortunate in hooking up to the right people there. There's some things in here too later that show in Jacob Baker. Again, the Jacob Baker way back there, that he had, they had 10 children, and our great-great-grandfather John was just one of those children. Jacob was another one, and there's more about Jacob I'll get to later. When I first started asking questions about the Baker Cemetery, one thing led to another, and people took me to another place where Jacob Baker Jr., who we didn't know about, but that was a brother of John Baker, and we...
Discarded, you know. Then there's some other thing where you can study at it. You have in the courthouse, it's most of the time in the basement, you have those great big books, and that is, it goes back to the 1100 where you can study on it.
That's nice too.
You know,
real nice.
With the war, they have protected them very much. That did not get disappeared or burned up or bombed out or anything.
Yes. Yeah, that's really nice.
Roy, was your impression that these cemeteries aren't well kept up? They don't even put iron railings on the farm ones, and then this one has a lot of burials, and you are the one who hacked the stuff away.
Yeah, they're not kept at all. They're on private land.
Even the Taylor Cemetery?
Yeah. Taylor Cemetery, that's what it looks like. We would not know it's a cemetery. I mean, it's private land. Same way with Shore Valley is just as bad. I mean, I knew it was there, but you got to get close to it before you can see the grave markers. But they're still standing anyhow.
When we were in New England, we drove up in Maine, rural Maine one time, and these farms, we saw the little graves, but they all had a nice railing around.
Yes.
They were protected, and you saw so much of that. But there's none
How
of
many
this.
cemeteries you didn't see because they were...
Well,
Some
there
of the
was plenty
cemeteries
that
are
we
capped in that
But you
area.
don't miss too many.
Some of them are capped.
They don't do that.
This one in
But you don't keep up the culture over in Europe. You have such a big cult over the
Yes.
graves. They go I know an aunt of mine. She's gone practically every day in the summertime and put the water on the grave. It stands up
Yes.
this high, and every day she goes over there with the bicycle and get the water, put the water on.
Yes. Some of them are capped. This one at Saltello, that's an example of one that's well capped. This Cherry Grove Cemetery where John C. Baker was buried, that's a well capped cemetery. It's just some of these little private family burial spots that aren't capped at all. Some of you had mentioned, Bob, you've been in Waterfall, New Granada. You saw that old log? Okay, you might have seen it, didn't know what it was. That's what was known as the old Louis Bergstresser homestead. And of course the Bergstressers went in there, I think, in 1845. That building was actually built, I believe, in 1810. It was already there. It was already there. And that probably won't stand forever either. I mean,
And that's where Cousin Josie lived? Cousin Josie was living there when Earl went back one time?
No, there's other Bergstresser houses that are more semi-modern, houses that were built in the late 1800s, early 1900s. But this has just been a garden shed probably for a long, long time.
But there's someone taking a picture of a little old log cabin, rinky dinky. Wasn't that because he lived just further? And I thought that was,
I don't think anyone's living in that one. I've seen pictures of people in houses, but I've never seen one with anybody living in this house. And if, I could be wrong, but maybe you've seen something I haven't seen, but I've never seen a picture of one living in that.
someone said the old log cabins were made of chestnut logs and they did not rot very easily. Now the chestnut trees are all gone. So
Could
if
be.
you make a log cabin now, it would deteriorate.
Could be.
But if you take a cedar, just deteriorated, or a redwood.
Well, they are not.
Oh, you're not there. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I've made notes of things in case anyone ever does go there so you can find it. It's when you come into Waterfall from the west, and you see the Welcome to Waterfall sign, and you look right over there, 100 yards, and that's where that building is. So I tried to, in my notes, leave directions so anyone who wanted to go there and find any of these places could. You can find your way there. It's kind of a funny feeling, kind of a good feeling to. Yes. Yes.
We know where every one of them.
Yes. Yes. I'm in Shore Valley.
But thing, mother was never.
I've got one aunt.
But there's a grave there, marked there, a mini infant daughter upstairs. And the mother never made any mention.
Oh.
I ever did. Of course, Max was old.
Yes.
Guy, he's a young fellow.
13 or something like that. 13 maybe. Is he 13 years old or older than that?
Might have been a little older. He was just a young lad there. But other than that, Minnie never heard her mention that.
Yes.
Got an infant daughter.
Yes. Did you go see that? Did you see that old log place there? The log cabin? Did you see that?
Probably so.
Probably so. You saw the house where your mother grew up. You found that? Yeah. I think that's pretty well gone now. I couldn't find that 3 years ago.
Yeah, fairly good shape at that time.
Yes.
Well, the farming place renting this had piled fertilizer on portion kind of broke down.
Yeah.
But, we were in the house there, but
yes.
I think we were with Doc Black. He was showing us around there. And a little bit cautious. Quite a little trouble with the snakes there.
Oh, yes.
Or something.
Yes.
That moved around down the basement or something. But we saw the house. It was pretty well preserved at that time.
Doc Black showed us that place in 1975, and I went back there, and I think it's gone. There's been a lot of development in that area, and a lot of bulldozing and that type of stuff.
Who's your grandmother Black born? In England?
No, that's Black is German also.
They have it Americanized. Black is Schwarz.
Yes. Yeah, it could be. We don't know. We don't know
Black
what that was changed from.
Black means Schwarz.
Or it could have been something that sounded like black. It could have been BLEICH or something like that. Could have been. So we don't know for sure. We do. I mean, that's what the blacks say that their ancestors came from Germany.
When they got to the United States, they were pronouncing their name and
Sounds like with a superhuman
the
race.
person writing it.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Down here in Texas.
The immigration was caused by, say, culture, military service, or bad.
Yeah, and the first thing would say they were somebody.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention I can't prove it, but my theory, I think that blacks might have come over, or Bakers came over in 1727, and I can't prove, but I think they came over from the Strasbourg area, which is now on the France side of the line. And
yeah.
I think that's a theory, and I don't think it had anything to do with being drafted in the military. It had to do a lot with being run over time after time after time by the French or by the Germans coming back the other way, being run over, burned out.
They were always victims.
Yes.
Whoever came in was victimized.
Yes.
Yeah, he came on this island. When he couldn't spell the name, they have spelled it their way. And when the name was so long, then they have shortened this.
Yes.
I know a friend, their name is Schurgenbach. well, he understand a little bit, and he have make sure that he have put Schurkenbach on there, or nothing else.
Yes. And how many different ways have you seen Bergstresser spelled? There must be
Yeah,
about a dozen
son,
different ways to
son
spell
is, yeah.
Bergstrassers.
Even the ones that we know are related, as they've matured, sometimes they assumed a different spelling.
Yes.
Yeah. My name, he could never do anything else with it. My maiden name was Hoffman. Well, Hoffman is Hoffman. He couldn't do anything with it, you know.
Baker's a lot easier.
Yeah, Baker's a lot easier. Well, German names is Hoffman, Schultz, Keller, Schmidt, and other names.
Grandmother Black maiden name was McNeil.
Oh, Wagner, Gerhard.
McNeil came from originally Scotland.
Yes.
I guess they can trace it goes way back. He was the king of Scotland, they said.
Yes.
Royalty now.
Yeah, that's a royal. That's really.
Oh, Miller.
So that's it. I'm done talking about what I don't know much about. So.
Well, it was great.
Well, thanks for all your.
It's just nice you got the history.
There was upper. We made it.
And because I'm in this car, there's no one else. Well, that was fun. And then there was a. Cut down that last street. And I don't really know what the bookcase was. But I wrote on it. And I told her. Just like all she wanted was a fight. They have an opening to find out.
Well, you know, I asked her, when we went skiing, we took us to Yellowstone and stuff, but I went once, I think.
You mean when you were little?
Yeah, she'd say 1940 over there. I think that's about the date. When we got to Yellowstone, so she was there one time and said, we thought about it. You know,
Just saying, if you never do it, take it. It was an option. And the man at
He recognized it. Was this in France where he had was it all during the war?
Yeah, yeah. He was in the Marines, but he first is. He ended up in the first.
This was first World War or second?
First. Now, one of your brothers, Ruth, was in France.
Yeah, World War
All three of them went to France.
I always wondered, did she think
Grant.
That's when they got the name in the hospital. They believe there's still some belief to this day still.
Grant got bad break, yeah.
But this is point and point and point and point. You have, for us, you have to tell the difference between the gases, the
the mustard God, is the Worcestershire. When you get it, you just as well keep it in water all the time. It cannot blend it anymore. You know, harm you anymore. But you have to keep it for a long time. I think it's about 3-4 days just in water all the time. I did everything I did in my own book.
So I know.
I called down there to the hospital, and she answered the phone, and I said, I'd like to speak to Earl Baker, but she's like, I'm sorry, I'm sleeping. Had kind of a rough night. I go wake him up. I said, that's great. Can I take a message? I said, yeah, just tell him that his nephew, Chet Baker, called. So, wait a minute. She says, he was talking about you the other day. So I'm going to wake him up. So she did wake him up. It sounded like I was a long lost son. Little conversation.
That's Uncle Earl.
Yeah, so, but that was Gloria that I talked to.
Yes, and, yeah, she gave up her job. Of course, she could do it because she had a husband working too. I felt so bad because I couldn't go down, but I had still a child.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I had to work 2 jobs. So anyway,
siblings offered to
Gloria,
Gloria.
share with me, she was out. And of course, I couldn't do it, but I will always do it.
Sure.
Well, you know, it's too bad.
I didn't care, it wasn't.
No.
It was not.
Right,
It was
yes,
the
you're
fact that
absolutely
I
right.
just thought I wasn't before. I bet I cried for months.
Well, the reason I was so shocked by this, and the reason I keep digging here is Aunt Pearl was at my house, and she was talking about Uncle Fred's. So, and she was upset about, she didn't think we got the Bakers got a fair shake. And so I said, you know, I don't think I deserve anything because I didn't have She got mad. She's, you're there and you are entitled to your share of that, and we didn't get our share, and when I do my will, it's going to be right.
Yeah.
And this thing comes along,
Yeah.
that's
See,
what
she
the hell
had
she's
no way
talking
of knowing
about.
that. She had no way
Right.
of knowing that.
But I didn't